I'm talking with George, who is a participant in the Orange Vibe Jam, and we're just gonna find out a little bit more about him. So, George, if you please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Phil, for having me on. Yeah, to make a long story short, I'm 51 years old. I've been a hand woodturner all my life, and far from being anything close to an IT expert. For my business, I've been using the usual tools in the past, like Microsoft Office, some apps like AutoCAD, CorelDRAW, and Photoshop, but I really never gone deep into any of them. So really just an amateur in Web3 space regarding the apps.
You are though creative, right? Because I know that you carve chess pieces for your main business. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, but that's like working with my hands is totally different than working with mouse and keyboard. But yeah, try to be everything.
How did you find the Orange Vibe Jam? What drew you to participate?
Well, to be totally open, I've been in the orange space for about a year now. And when you guys put out the announcement, yeah, I was like, nah, this is not for me. This is for younger kids, IT experts, and all of that. But and so far, I've never heard about vibe coding. But yeah, then I saw. I think that you were the one that put out those links, right? About vibe coding apps
Right.
tutorials. And I remember it was. I think it was like Saturday or Sunday. It was raining all day, and I said, okay, nothing else to do. Let's check those tutorials. And yeah, like 2 hours later, I saw that maybe this is not so complicated like I imagined, and I said, why not give it a try, right?
And what tools are you using?
Yeah, Replit totally.
Are you using any other AI tools like maybe ChatGPT or
Well, yeah. ChatGPT was actually the first one I started using, like I don't know, a year ago when I wanted my English, in Discord chat to be better, and that was the start. And then yeah, then in time I moved first to Ideogram and then to Midjourney, and then it was like testing Runway, Meshia, Animaze, and all of those tools. You know, mostly testing, but yeah, I use Chat GPT now on constant basis, along with some other apps.
no? When you started with vibe coding, did you work on a project for the Vibe Jam, or did you start with something totally different?
No. Like I said, at first I said, okay, let's give it a try, but not even for the competition. But then it was really funny that just when I was thinking what kind of game or app should I do, I got on a call with my brother, and he was complaining about his daughter, my niece. She's in primary school and she hates math. She finds it boring and refuses to do exercises, and my brother was complaining about how he's downloading and printing different math problems. So I thought to myself, why don't do a simple math quest, custom made just for her? And I set up a very simple test in Replit, and I added my niece's name through the entire game. It was constantly like, welcome and way to go and congrats and so on. And I even added her friends' names. She immediately saw, oh, my friend Julia is here, and Tom and Sarah. She was like instantly into it, went through the app couple of times. And then when I've done that, I said, okay, let's maybe develop this and try this for the Orange Wipe competition, little broader version of this simple math test.
Yeah, that's excellent. So I played around with it a bit, and it's simple, but it's interesting because my own kids use adapted minds for math, and the system that you developed is a little bit different. Like I really like the equations and just having to figure out from the choices how to finish those equations. Is that something that you had in mind, or something that just came out of the development that you didn't actually plan for?
Well, I had it in my mind. I don't know when my kids were younger and had that problem. I was really searching. And I could rarely find the exact examples of exercises that they need. It was all over the place, and I said it would be so good to have some, like, I don't know, professor or something. Made exercises customly for your child. But of course, that was never, unless you hired the tutor, that was never an option. So yeah, when I was thinking about my niece, I said, let's focus on the stuff that she actually has problems with. Accidentally, it's math. It could be history, it could be geography, it could be any other subject. And yeah, then I thought, this vibe coding with Replit is so simple that actually any parent that can use ChatGPT could provide some exercises for their child, exactly what they need. So this was the main logic behind all of that.
Can you share with us your initial prompt?
I started using with ChatGPT. I kind of made entire plan there, but I said, I just want to make a simple math quest for, I don't know, a third grader primary school student. Can you help me? She has problem with addings and simple operations. And yeah, ChatGPT just started, throwing out ideas, and I had to actually, at certain points, I said stop. We only need like one or two exercises, not like a bunch of them.
When you first started developing, did anything surprise you while you were going through the process for the very first time?
Well, I think what surprised me was, like with any AI tool that I tried or tested in last year. Uh, Also the same is with Replit. How simple those tools are, especially at some starting basic point. I'm not talking about going deep into this. Then you obviously need some tutorials or workshops. But if I compare this to, I don't know, what we had 20 or 30 years ago, when you got some, I don't know, some applications like AutoCAD, and you had no tutorials and you needed like weeks or months to figure it out. Uh, Today's AI apps are so simple. When you logged in, you see that prompt, you just insert with text or by voice comment, and 30 seconds later you see the result. And it was the same with ChatGPT, with ideogram, with Replit. That first steps are really really easy, and this is what amazed me, like, every single time.
No, I mean, I've talked to a few other people, and one of the barriers was coming up against that paywall to, allow you to deploy your project. What I'm interested in is like what checkpoint or at what point in your journey before you decided to subscribe, what got you over that hump or
Well,
that barrier?
I think it was like with any other app. You fall into it. You said, "Oh wow, this is great." I really can start making something. It was the same on ideogram. When all of a sudden I was in, and then I had to either stop or buy subscription. It was the same with Rapid. I make those first few trials, and I loved it, and then it said, "Okay, you are off for today." And I said, no, I cannot wait till tomorrow. I need to progress now. And yeah, I will admit that, being then a part of this competition, or knowing that this is something that is going on, was that not time pressure. But I said, look, if I'm going on with this, I cannot be dependent for these free tokens and free trials. I need to have like at least certain amount of subscriptions.
So now let's talk about actually deploying your project. Once you got it to a state that you were happy with, how did you find the deployment process?
Well, to be totally fair, like I said, I'm no IT expert. When I had to add that Orange ID, I cherished your tutorials very much. I'm not sure I would not do it without it. And yeah, I think that to be totally honest, with any other new stuff that you try, it's always so good, if you do it in a safe and supportive environment. And being able to reach out to the Orange team for help and advice, it was awesome. Even now that I know the deployment of application is super easy, when you do it the first time, it's so good to have somebody guiding you through the
Yeah,
experience.
I mean, and then we're happy to help because it's creators like you who are gonna um, increase the value of our product, right? So, yeah, anytime, man. We're always available to help our creators. Um, so, while you were developing your app, did you run into any struggles, and then how did you overcome those?
To be totally honest, the entire process went pretty smooth. I discussed it with ChatGPT. Then this Replit has an excellent AI agent that explains stuff on a very clear way. But yeah, I did. At a certain point, I was so grateful to the Replit team. That they created what's it called, that command return to a certain stage. Do you
Oh, the
know that
rollback.
term? Yeah, the rollback.
Yeah.
Because I was actually almost finished with the quest, and then I decided to complicate it by adding one more language. And I decided that
Hmm.
beside English, this should be Mandarin Chinese. Yeah, but I asked the agent, and he said, yeah, or she, whatever, how you want to call it, said no problem. And I think that in one day, the 70% of the app was translated into Chinese, and it looked good. And I tested a couple of lines. It was all good. I said, okay, let's finish this. But yeah, then last 20 or 30%, that was, I mean, I won't say nightmare, but things started to get complicated, because
Yeah.
let's say the entire page would be in Chinese except for one or two lines. And when I asked agent to fix that, yeah, that he fixed that, but yeah, another problem would pop out. And we got so deep into it that, suddenly app start crashing, music was on and music was off, and pages would start to mix with each other. And yeah, at a certain point, I said, let's just go back to that return stage point, and let's just deploy it in English, because yes, otherwise, yeah, it was stressful, after a week of work, that you suddenly start ruining the app, and I would actually have to start fresh, if there would not be that command. Yeah, some things to learn, that it's better to plan these things from the start, and
Yeah.
not import some drastic changes when you are almost finished. So yeah, lesson learned, I would say.
So when you originally prompted the agent, was it like a fully fleshed out idea, or did you build in features one by one?
Yeah, one by one, because I said, okay, let's make this one, and this will be it. And while I was doing that, I thought to myself, okay, maybe let's add another one, But it was no problem. Replit agent did it like the third and the fourth, and he was just adding and pulling all the scoring, from stage to stage. It was actually never a problem. So I was really surprised that, yeah, some things must be planned in advance, but at certain stage, you can just say, let's add a bit of this, and it does not cause any problem.
So anyone right now who is kind of sitting on the fence, who is interested in vibe coding but hasn't really um, tried it yet, um, do you have any advice for those people who are
Well,
waiting?
to be totally short, I would say just jump in and ignore that voice in your head that is saying that you can do this. But
Hmm.
this is like the shortest version I can give. But yeah, a little bit deeper. I would say that if you use ChatGPT, you are there, because it's the same thing the way I see it. If you can talk to ChatGPT, you can wipe code. The only difference is that with ChatGPT you get result in the form of information. With audiogram you get like the image for the result, and with wipe coding you get the code. But otherwise, it is totally the same. And I think that anybody can use ChatGPT, right? It's not really rocket science. So I think it just sounds, as soon as you mention code to somebody that is not IT expert. I know I was like, oh no, 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 I can do a lot of stuff, but coding never gonna happen. I think this is the biggest barrier that somebody must jump over.
Now that you've submitted your project, like, are you going to continue to vibe code? Are you working on anything next?
Uh, well, like I said, this is more or less fun for me. I'm not looking for, I don't know, some serious business opportunity in this space. But yeah, I have during the process, I got some funny ideas, for that toilet games inside Boomtown. I think that was interesting topic for me. So yeah, I have an idea or two.
You had a tagline or billboard slogan for your app. What would it be?
For my math quest, I would say vibe coding, the smart way to help kids shine without the tutor cost.
Whoa, I guess you thought about that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did to be. I have a
All
lot
right.
of time.
What has vibe coding meant to you?
Well, I would say that, of course, it opens a totally new window in everything that we are living. And for me, it means, making kind of any app smoothly and without any stress. And it also, yeah, it sounds pretty cool to be called a vibe coder, to be totally honest.
Okay, excellent.
Uh, yeah, but I think it's pretty obviously that I'm not doing this for professionally, but more or less to set up an example for all of those, that like, oh, I didn't study IT, I can do this.
Hmm.
And I am testing all of this just to set up an example for anybody. Like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I gave you my history. I was a year ago. I was miles from using any AI tools, and as long as just jump in, and new world will open. That's all I can say.